Sickos Club.
Sickos Club.
Hey, come here. You like pro wrestling? We got a little something for you. Two fans, 3,000 miles away. We each been watching for more than 30 years. Celebrating the art form, the action, the homoeroticism. We ain't rating matches. We ain't analyzing stories. We ain't experts. We just sit down, shut up, and mark out! Hello, everybody. This is Blade Goddamn Daily coming at you with another edition of Sit Down, Shut Up, Mark Out, a pro wrestling podcast about pro wrestling. That's right. That's right. When you call yourself a pro wrestling podcast, the main topic of it should probably be pro wrestling. And it is. I'm joined once again, as always, by my co-host, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be, the greatest Canadian pro wrestling podcaster in the history of Canada itself, Joshi G. Joshi, hello.
Hello, I'm Blade. How are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. It's been a week, hasn't it?
Yeah, very nonchalant, nothing going on kind of week, you know.
Very quiet.
Political system is functioning great. And no notable deaths. Actually, strike that. Two very notable deaths in the world this week that affect people. So, first death, Ozzy Osbourne died this week. I don't know what I expected. Ozzy is 76 years old, I believe, and he had Parkinson's. I didn't know that, but he did. He had Parkinson's, and he died like a couple weeks after he did his big tribute show where people were paying tribute to Black Sabbath, and it was kind of his last hurrah. I don't know what I expected. Ozzy lived a crazy life, and he lived to be a good old age for the kind of life he lived. You know what I mean? For a guy who did that many drugs. Black Sabbath was so huge for me, and I know it was for you. And Black Sabbath really shaped what became heavy metal. I mean, in a major, major way. And then Ozzy never left the spotlight after that. You know, I'm not a big Ozzy Osbourne solo guy myself, but like so many people are. He's just a massive institution. He's like the godfather of heavy metal.
I'm going through changes.
There you go. Yeah.
It hurt. It really hurt me. It's not like I thought he was in the best condition the past freaking 10 years. But for some reason, I just figured, well, if Keith Richards could live a really long life and basically abuse his body the way he has, and hey, I'm not worried about Ozzy Osbourne. And then bam, on Tuesday, right? We find out Ozzy's dead, and I was just in complete shock, and I was very sad.
Right.
And been listening to Black Sabbath and Ozzy Osbourne, and like you said, Black Sabbath really did define what we consider heavy metal, and did so much for that genre. And they're a huge reason why I love heavy metal. Heavy metal holds such a special place in my heart, and I loved how eccentric Ozzy Osbourne was. I used to watch his reality TV show here and there. I mean, definitely a strange family, but it was fun. They reminded me of the Addams Family. And it's just, man, he was just so influential. But you're absolutely right. He abused drugs for a really long time throughout his entire career. And I'm glad that he got to live as long as he did. I do wish we could have held on to him for longer, of course, because he was so instrumental in my love for heavy metal. But like other musicians that have passed away and that we've mourned, his music will live on forever and nobody can ever take that away from us. So that's what I keep trying to tell myself. That's what I love about music. Even when we lose these amazing artists, somehow they don't just disappear, you know, like you could still listen to their music. And I'm really grateful for that. So it makes music such a beautiful art form. But yeah, like I'm still sad, but I'm just glad that we just got to basically listen to him for so freaking long. And I never had the pleasure of seeing him live, unfortunately. But I'm sure those of you that have had a really great time, and that's freaking awesome. And just, thank you for everything that you did for heavy metal, Ozzy Osbourne. You'll never be forgotten. And I'm just a dreamer too, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah. I would say Ozzy is one of the very few who influenced more than one generation, even rarer still to influence more than two generations, with Ozfest, with all the stuff he did to kind of keep himself relevant, and Black Sabbath reuniting and touring the world together for several, about a decade. It's very rare that somebody feels significant, 50 or 60 years after they start.
Yeah.
Especially now. And Ozzy was a very special talent. There's just no getting around that. And best to you, Ozzy, fellow traveler of the cosmos now. Maybe we'll see you around next time.
The king of heavy metal.
That's right. And then I was very surprised yesterday when I got a notification on my phone that Hulk Hogan died. I had heard that he was in poor health, but it wasn't confirmed. The source for it was not one I felt was very reliable. But I was seeing these headlines, that they're keeping his health quiet or something like that. And then I saw a headline like he hasn't been seen in public for 2 months, which is unusual for him. He's a very out there guy. And yeah, got the notification yesterday that he had died. And I guess all I really have to say is this. I don't have a lot of emotion for Hulk Hogan. I'm not going to celebrate him, and I'm not going to dance on his grave. I just won't. Too much emotion for someone that I have no emotion for. We all know what he did in wrestling. He was a pop culture icon. To those of you who could care less, I understand. To those of you who are sad, okay. But what I noticed yesterday, Joshi, when I went on social media, and I knew this was going to happen, it was like a fucking war zone.
Yeah.
I really wish sometimes we hadn't normalized needing to make a comment about every goddamn thing. I wish that we had a little better understanding of how to just let an opinion we disagree with just stand and just move on. There's no reason to fight over this. There's no reason to fight over it. Like, if you don't agree with somebody, that's fine. Just don't agree with them. But instead, you see all these people just flaming each other in their comments or whatever. And I was on social media for like 5 minutes. I just had no desire to be a part of this. And, there's a lot of people saying factually inaccurate stuff. There would be no wrestling without Hulk Hogan, blah, 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 blah. That's bullshit. Hulk Hogan didn't create wrestling. Hulk Hogan didn't save wrestling. Hulk Hogan was just a very successful wrestler. That's it. I just choose not to invest my energy. Yes, he did some stuff in wrestling that was cool, that I liked. It was a long time ago, and he did a lot of stuff in life that I really didn't like. It's as simple as that.
Well, I agree with what you said. You said it very well. For me, Hulk Hogan and Terry are separate. Hulk Hogan was a character on television that I watched as a kid, and I'm not going to lie, I did like the NWO. I liked Hollywood Hulk Hogan.
Mm-hmm.
Terry, especially towards the later stages of his life, was a person that I didn't have much respect for. His death is complicated for a lot of people. It's not that because someone isn't celebrating his death or saying, oh, he did a lot for the wrestling business and I enjoyed watching him as a kid. That doesn't mean that they're saying he was a good person or absolving him of the crap he did in real life. It just means that they had a connection to a character on TV and they have these memories that they cherish. I don't like who he became. I don't like who he became at all. He was a part of my childhood that I don't just want to forget either. So that's where I'm kind of conflicted, because it just felt like yesterday, some people just expected you to celebrate that he's dead. And that was the only appropriate response. And I think that people are a lot more complex than that. And you shouldn't expect that from everybody. Everyone has different emotions and different experiences. But at the end of the day, let's not attack each other and let people feel how they feel. And honestly, I don't think anybody wants to be in a situation where when they die, it feels like a freaking war zone like this. Hopefully this is a lesson to people. Don't put yourselves in a situation where you're polarizing like this when you die. It's like, who the heck wants to be in a situation like that? It's just weird.
We try to make things so simple so that they fit into a tweet-sized post. You know what I mean? But reality doesn't fit into a tweet-sized post. And as a person, instead of choosing simplicity and black and whiteness, because black and whiteness is what social media kind of allows for and rewards, I choose complexity. There is complexity to life. And people are allowed not to see things the same. But I don't think that we should be so comfortable jumping on each other, especially at a time like this. You have your feelings. You're entitled to them. But I don't think anybody needs to jump on you or you need to jump on anybody else for their feelings. They're just feelings, you know? But we're going to move on because, Joshi, I do have some promising news. I think we might have a lead on Gerald.
Blade, I think we've discussed this,
Joshi,
privately before.
Yeah, and you're on and on about this nonsense about Gerald's not real. He's another Muppet Money thing. Look, I will not let you gaslight me. Okay,
I'm not gaslighting you. I've never even seen Gerald.
You've talked to him on the show. The people have heard you talk to him.
I know, but I was just engaging for you. I mean, like you did with me and Muppet Monet, where we all go through our imaginary friend phase.
Okay. So I have somebody called me. They called the Gerald hotline and thinks they've caught him. Okay. So for those who are unaware, Kurt Jangle, native Texan, was at All In and saw Gerald there. Okay. And then Pippin caught Gerald and put him in the mail for me. But when I got the package, there was a Gerald-sized hole in it. So let's listen to this call I got, okay? This is exciting, okay? Our boy might be coming home.
This message is for Mr. Blade Daly. I think I have something or someone. I'm not still quite sure, to be honest with you. See, I was out checking my rodent traps the other day, and I found what, to my eyes, seemed to be a kind of a tiny shaved ape, squealing, carrying on about the woke agenda. Anyway, I had to pop a tranquilizer dart into his neck because he kept trying to bite at me. Once he went night-night, I hosed him down and gave him a once-over and found a tattoo above his butt crack said, "If found, return to Blade Daily," followed by this here phone number I just called you on. So yeah, give me a call back when you get this, and I appreciate some haste on your end because I think the little fella's starting to wake up. And if that woke agenda he was talking about involves more biting, I'm gonna run out of sleepy juice real quick.
Did you hear that, Joshi? The tattoo above his butt? That's Gerald. That
you
is
never
Gerald.
mentioned a tattoo to me before.
Yeah, I mean, do I got to mention everything just for it to be real? Also, he would fit in a rodent trap. He would fit very nicely in a rodent trap.
Are you sure that this isn't someone just playing with you, Blade?
Why would they do that? That's Gerald. They've got Gerald.
All right, Gerald's back. The music is going to get better very soon.
Whoever that is that called. By the way, the music is not going to get better. It's just going to be different, okay? Like, I'm killing it.
Okay. Yeah, no,
you listened to the music in the last episode,
I did.
Right?
It was absolutely terrific.
The polka and stuff?
Yeah.
That was really good.
So it was a lot of fun. I was dancing away all day.
Were you?
Yeah.
Okay. See, I can DJ. I can do whatever. I mean, maybe we don't even need Gerald. You know what I mean? Maybe I should just be the DJ going forward. Let's get to the actual graps, maybe.
Whoever sent this recording to iBlade, not very cool of you to play mind games with him. Anyway, so
what?
Nothing. I'm just really relieved that Gerald's coming home. I know he was obviously a really big part of your life.
Yeah, I really relieved too, because I just took a pee real quick while you were mumbling into the mic. I don't know what you were saying.
Oh, I was just saying how grateful I am that someone found little Gerald.
Yeah,
so
me too.
Let's woo, Gerald. So we have a topic to discuss that we're not very happy about. It actually makes us quite sad.
Indeed.
Somehow, All In, as great as it was, caused a lot of injuries. Well, no, I'm not going to blame the actual pay-per-view, but there are a lot of injured wrestlers in AEW right now.
Yes. And
I am over this injury bug. I've had it. I don't know what this bug's problem is. Go somewhere else. Go contaminate other people. So I didn't get to talk about this last week. I said I was going to, and then of course got carried away with other things, but Adam Cole. So this one's a serious one, which is extremely sad. We don't know how long he's going to be out for. I'm hoping that because what he's going through is similar to what Bryan Danielson went through, it might take a while, but that somehow he gets all the treatment in the world that he needs, gets better, and comes back down the line. And you know what? If for whatever reason that doesn't happen, that's okay too. We just want him to stay alive and healthy. But of course, that one was, this one's just a really hard one to swallow because the guy's been through so freaking much. And, it's like, damn, another head injury. Not great. But of course, we hope he gets all the care that he needs. And you know what? It's never hopeless. We've had amazing, comeback stories. I mean, before we had Danielson, we had Shibata. So a freaking Adam Copeland. So,
Christian Cage. Yeah.
Christian Cage, try to be positive. It might not be in a year from now. It might not be in 2 years from now. But there is a good possibility that we may see Adam Cole wrestle again one day.
Right.
Now, the rest of the list. Mina Shirakawa injured her hand. This sucks too because, well, not as bad as Adam Cole. None of these are as bad as Adam Cole. Let me get that. Let me get that clear. Yeah, let me make that very clear because, that's really the worst situation. But basically, she won the interim women's TV, ROH TV title literally the night before All In. And then at All In the casino gauntlet match, I guess she hit an opponent like too hard and ended up, injuring her hand. So I'm not sure how long she's out for.
No.
Hopefully not too long, but yeah, there's another injury. Then we learned today that Thunder Rosa is dealing with an undisclosed injury. Bummer. Seriously, another one. So hopefully
no timetable.
It isn't serious. No timetable. I really hope it's not serious. I hope it's not her back. She's had back issues before that kept her away for a very long time.
Right.
She also wrestled a very physical style against Athena at the ROH Supercard of Honor show. So really trying to keep my fingers crossed here because, man, Thunder Rosa was looking so great in the ring.
She was, yeah.
Yeah. An unfortunate injury that took place on the Collision. Last week's Collision was Colton Gunn. He got injured. Yeah. What's up with the Bang Bang Gang, man? It's like, why is there always an injured person?
It's weird. It's, the Bang Bang Gang and Adam Cole are kind of similar in that just when opportunity seems to arise for them, something happens, and it's just the Bang Bang Gang has felt snake bitten for like a year now. And, I heard Tony talk about how important Jay White is. Jay is still out. And now, Jay was kind of expected back in the nearish future. And I think they might have expected him back sooner than they might have expected that he would have been back already, but Colton and Austin had been off TV forever. Juice had been out since last November. And it just sucks. It just sucks because I love the Bang Bang Gang. If they can stay healthy and stay on TV, they will get over massively. And just my best to both. My best to Jay. Hope he's coming along well. Tony did go out of his way on a media call to say Jay is such an important part of AEW. So I think Tony sees huge things for Jay. But goddamn.
I know. I don't know what's going on with Jay White. Hopefully he'll be cleared soon. Jamie Hayter as well. Another one.
Yeah.
Where they expected her to come back earlier and she didn't. And we haven't received any kind of updates.
Right.
So hopefully she'll be okay. We heard that Kenny Omega is taking time off, but we don't know if it's injury related or if he just simply needs time off, right? So hopefully it's not an injury. The last one we're going to discuss because I noticed that you questioned this one, iBlade, is Will Ospreay. So we found out on Dynamite that he had sustained a neck injury. But somehow he will get amazing treatment and most likely be back for Forbidden Door.
Yeah. So that just strikes me a little weird. Like neck injuries are a really big deal. Okay. I'm not sure if they're being optimistic that he can be treated for, what he said was herniated discs in his spine. But Forbidden Door is in a month, you know? And that's goddamn, like, Will, if you really are hurt, bro, like, pump the brakes. Like, don't put an arbitrary timeline on this. You can still come out and wave to the crowd at Forbidden Door if that's what you got to do, but I did get a little workishness feeling from this. Like maybe they're trying to explain why he's not going to be on TV till Forbidden Door, or maybe they're just being really optimistic and trying to keep selling tickets for Forbidden Door because they want people, Will is a huge attraction for that show because it's in England. So I don't know, but there was something about the promo that made me feel like, maybe. I was surprised to see him on Dynamite, honestly. I was, it had been reported that he was taking time off. So I thought that maybe we just wouldn't see him. He had already had an injury angle to write him off. So, but he even, kind of called out the Death Riders too. So that made me feel like maybe this is part real and part story. He definitely has real neck problems. He got a terrible neck injury some years back, so that I know has affected him throughout his career since. So we'll see. But yeah, a lot of people injured. Thank God for AEW having a very deep roster where they can sustain those kinds of losses and continue to roll at a very high level. And, think about that. Like Jamie Hayter and Mina Shirakawa being gone would devastate a lot of other promotions. Jay White and Kenny Omega and Will Ospreay being out, Adam Cole, that would devastate some organizations, and AEW can just keep rolling,
Yeah, it's a great thing that they have such a stacked roster. And no, I totally get what you mean. When he said, I'll probably be back by Forbidden Door, I thought, what? How is that even possible?
Mm-hmm.
That sounds way too optimistic and unrealistic. So it might be half work, half shoot. We'll see. But I see where you're coming from, I believe. I found it suspicious as well. Yes.
But we have so much more to cover, Joshi. So much to cover in this episode, including, so we've started off with kind of the heavier things, but we are gonna go out with a big bang. We have a celebration that nobody even knows about.
Nope.
Except now they kind of know.
And believe me, they're going to absolutely love it.
That's right. That's right. I can't wait to get to it. The only good news we've had so far is about Gerald. So,
yeah, totally. So we've got some interesting feedback on our Tony Storm take last week.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, we welcome feedback and constructive criticism.
Yeah.
And so what we both found really interesting was that on Collision, Athena pretty much called out every single critique that we made.
Yeah.
And Tony actually responded in a very serious manner. Which was very appropriate. And actually, on Dynamite, so Billy Starks wrestled Tony Storm. It was an eliminator title match.
Right.
And Athena was watching the match from
the balcony. Yeah.
The balcony. And honestly, it was a really good match. I was actually very impressed. I thought Billy Starks looked really good. And Tony Storm, she incorporated some new movesets. So I was very impressed. And there wasn't any, I felt like in this match, there wasn't any kind of silliness. Tony was very serious. And it was actually refreshing to see her act in this way, because we just got used to her, being more silly and all of that. But because Athena, I guess, is such a tough chick and always freaking serious, it makes sense. I don't know if serious and silly would really mix well together. But yeah, it worked well for me.
Yeah, I think I was really happy with how it was interesting. So we taped that episode last Friday, and then on Collision on Saturday, I knew they were having a segment and was really, really fascinated by how that played out, because it felt like like you said, like Athena, like kind of addressed almost everything we said. Like, oh, should I make a sex joke? Should I make a bunch of sexual jokes? Do I need to like, do I need to have an accent? Do I need to, like she like kind of went on this tear and kind of tore the Toni Storm character to shreds in a way, where it was like, this is what entertains you idiots. And I like that a lot. Athena's promos have been super good, and I don't see her every week on Ring of Honor. I try to watch Ring of Honor every week, but I don't always get a chance to. She's gotten even better at promos, and I really liked the promo with her and Billy on Dynamite this week, where Athena's wearing a shark hat. So this is the most invested I've ever been in a beautiful woman wearing a shark hat. What I loved was she's like, okay, minion, what are we going to do? And Billy starts rattling something off, and Athena's mouthing the words with her. So like Athena gave her a script, that she's had to memorize. I really liked that little nugget. What are we going to do? And then Billy's like, beat Toni Storm. And then Athena's like, you're not going to beat Toni. That's not what I want you to do. I want you to take her out. I want you to, so it feels like they're building this up for Forbidden Door. It feels like it's going to be happening sooner than later. I don't think they're going to drag this out for months and months. Again, we talked about it a little bit last week. I don't love the money in the bankishness of the contract thing. Hopefully that won't be a huge factor in this. Hopefully she won't cash it in. I was hoping she wouldn't try to do it after this match. And it should be said, Billy and Toni had a really good television match. It was like a 10-minute match, maybe. But that's a solid television match, in my opinion. I don't think they always need to be epically long in order to be good, And so they had a really, really good match. They have good chemistry. Something you can always say for Toni Storm is she likes to wrestle. Like, she likes to wrestle regularly. She is definitely a hard worker, for sure. But I think her and Athena are going to be great rivals. This already feels like a pretty hot rivalry, and I think it's going to continue to get hotter. So my thing is, I really, really, I said this last week, but come on, I think it is Athena's time. I think it's time for Athena to take the crown and run with it and just be that third big headliner, we had talked a while ago, and I said that I felt that Chris and Willow were next because I'm just so used to Athena being in Ring of Honor. Mm-hmm. But Athena is next. Like, Athena's the one. Like, she is your next big headliner that you can put in a main event on a pay-per-view. She's ready. But if they build this right and they spend the next few weeks cementing her with the crowd and having her on every show the way they have been, I think it's going to happen. I think it's her time.
It's her time. And honestly, I know she's the ROH Women's World Champion, but whatever. Like, even if she were to drop that, who cares at this point? She just needs to become the AEW Women's World Champion. Mm-hmm. She can't hold on to that ROH Women's title forever.
Right.
It's time for somebody else to win it. And I don't honestly think that would hurt her if she were to drop it while she's feuding with Toni, or if she does win the AW Women's title, if she drops it after. I really don't think that would hurt her at all at this point. She's been the ROH Women's World Champion for so freaking long. And I think people will just be super impressed that she's the AW Women's World Champion at that point. So just do what you got to do.
I think the opportune time for her to drop this was a while ago. Mm-hmm. I think the fact that it doesn't really matter if she drops it now is kind of a problem with how they booked this. Is she's held it for so long that now she's going after the AEW world title, right? The women's world title. And it should have meant something much more for her to lose that belt. I'm not sure what they're waiting for. I'm not sure if they're waiting for someone or, some moment in time, if they're waiting for her to reach 1,000 days with the title. Who cares at this point?
Yeah. I don't think people care anymore.
nobody cares. Like, nobody even cares about the women's world title of ROH anymore because it's just been on Athena forever. So really, her losing it would actually be the most interesting thing that's happened in Ring of Honor in a long time.
Yeah.
So I agree with you, Joshi. I think, Athena could drop that title. I don't want her to vacate the title, just like I really didn't want Mercedes to vacate the TBS title. I think belts are meant to be won and lost, and it would mean a lot more for her to lose that title. But we'll see. I thought they were building to Billy Starks eventually beating her.
Yeah, me too.
It's kind of too late for that. It feels like they've wrestled on a special event like, 2 or 3 times, and Billy's lost every time. I just, that ship feels like it sailed, and now I have no idea who would beat her for it, but at this point, just get it off her, All right. Well, that is that. And after I play you guys some fucking killer tunes here, we're going to come back and talk Dynamite. We're going to talk a rematch, another rematch, different rematch. But enjoy this fucking music. Okay, Joshi. What do you say, right?
And the beat goes on.
Yeah. Good tunes, though, right?
Oh yeah. I'm having the time of my life.
Yeah, I can tell. No, like when you kind of have that like more like downtrodden look on your face, that's when I know you're really having a good time. You know what I mean?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah.
Smiles don't mean anything.
Smiles, yeah. I feel like you're putting on airs for me.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm your bestie. Like, why are you like humoring me? I know the real you. Yeah, when you look really serious and kind of frustrated, that's how I know you're having fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait to listen to the next song.
It's coming. You won't have to wait too long. Just like the people at home. Everybody's on. They're just waiting to see what DJ Daly is gonna bring to the decks next. You know what I mean? Okay. So our dearly beloved men's world champion, Hangman Adam Page. I'm really liking what they're doing with Hangman so far. I like the way he's carrying himself as opposed to the last time. I think last time he kind of had this shucksiness about him. And that's just, that was natural for his character at the time. But there's a more intense Hangman we're getting this time, which I really like. Earlier in the night, he just beats the shit out of Wheeler Yuta, just beats his ass and beats him up with a chain. We alluded to it earlier. Nobody's coming to make the save for you, buddy. Have you noticed that? And so he's trying to get into his head. And then about halfway through the show, Mox cuts a promo where he's kind of like he's kind of like calling Hangman like a chicken, like you're not man enough to face me, that kind of thing. So the show ends with the Death Riders beating up on Mark Briscoe because he had wrestled Claudio. And Hangman comes out to, kind of run them off. But it's also obviously an excuse to have Hangman accept Mox's challenge. Now, a bunch of people seemed kind of annoyed at the idea of Hangman and Mox wrestling again so soon.
Ahem.
You were one of them. And yes. there were others on Blue Sky and Threads, and there was others, in our Discord and stuff who they just don't want to see that match right now. I like that Hangman says to Mox, but it's going to be I'm the one with the power. You're going to do things my way. And the match is set for next week on Dynamite. Now, I could understand the exhaustion more if it was like And it's the main event of Forbidden Door. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That would be like, come on, guys. Like, you just main evented a pay-per-view with this. You can't do it again, like, a month later. Like, but Hangman's such a stipulation that there can be absolutely zero people at ringside, just Mox and Hanger. I like Hangman taking some authority over Mox. I think he just needs to beat Mox next week on Dynamite. And they're going to pivot. I think they need to pivot from Hangman and Mox to Hangman and his next challenger, whether that's MJF or somebody else, and Mox to Darby. I think that's really what this is actually being used for, is this match is being used as a pivot. But my question to you, Joshi, does it bother you? Because I saw a few people talk about this and I hadn't really thought about it. There were a few people who kind of didn't like that a main event of the last pay-per-view was now a rematch on Dynamite, like a few weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks later, and pointed out that it's happened a few times in the last couple years. They gave some examples. They were correct. They were technically correct. It doesn't bother me. Does it bother you?
Okay. So the fact that it's on a Dynamite makes me feel better. If it was on a pay-per-view, I would have been very annoyed because I don't want the story to continue.
Right.
So I get what they're trying to do. Like you said, they're going to pivot and it's going to be Darby, Jon Moxley. Fine. That's cool and all. It's just that, of course, my initial reaction to Moxley asking for a rematch was, what? No, not again. I don't want this again.
Right.
But because, again, it's going to be on Dynamite next week. I'm just like, okay, let's get this over with. Let's move on. And that's it. Is it necessary? No. It's not. But whatever, I guess they feel it's a necessity and we'll see how it goes. Hopefully it will be a good match. And, of course, Hangman will retain and then we can move on from Moxley Hangman. That's my hope. And I'm not going to lie. I was really happy that Hangman Adam Page beat Wheeler Yuta in such a short period of time.
He squashed him, basically.
He squashed him. Nothing personal, but like, I just want to beat Wheeler Yuta up. If I were to meet him, I'd just be like, you just annoy me and I want to kick your ass, man. Like, it's nothing personal. I just like, you just aggravate me on television. It's not even that I dislike him or anything. It's just, he's that freaking, like young, thin kid thinking he's all cool and stuff. And his like freaking bangs cover his eyes and he really needs a haircut. And I don't know. I'm just,
He's annoying. He's annoying.
That's all.
Yeah.
I won't actually try to beat you up, Wheeler. I'm sorry.
He plays it up. And Wheeler, that is good for you. Okay. Like, I've seen Joshi when she's ready to beat something up. Like, I don't want any part of that shit. Okay. Like, because you're dead meat if she decides that you are. Okay.
Yes.
But like,
I am a trained wrestler.
Yeah. No, you haven't seen her do her jujitsu and her judo moves. Like, you haven't seen it. Like, it's scary. It's very scary. She's laughing to lure us into a false sense of security. I think the Death Riders need to be on their way out the door. Yeah. I think
it's time.
They had their dominance. They had their run. It feels like it's over. I think if you're Tony Khan, you're like, why wouldn't Jon Moxley want or try to get his title back? He should be trying to get his title back, right? I think Hanger saying the no interference thing, that or no people at ringside, that is a way for him to say, John, you got to face me. You're scared of me. You're scared of me. And John was kind of acting scared of him last week, right? So this is a way to get over the hump a little bit. And then I think you go to Moxley Darby and they have a fucking bloodbath with each other, maybe, and Darby goes over and maybe Mox takes some more time off. I think that would be a great way to do it so that he can refresh and come back however he's going to come back later. And the Death Riders, all of them, are going to have to like kind of go through that period of like, what do we do now? You know, I almost think they could turn on Mox, you know, like he shows some mercy or something and they're like, you're weak, you know,
it could happen.
You become the problem. Like Marina turning on him would be kind of cool.
Yeah.
That would be kind of cool. All right. Well, that's that. We got one more bit from Dynamite.
So this bit actually confused me quite a bit. Yes, same. I noticed that I said bit multiple times, quite a bit. Anyways, so basically, FTR, they were in the ring cutting a promo with Stokely. Stokely looks like he's in very rough shape.
Very rough
after what happened to him on Dynamite last week. So anyway, Adam Copeland comes out. Yes, I know. That evil Ontarian.
Yes.
So Adam Copeland comes out and he said that he's made a deal with the Hurt business. Well, Hurt Syndicate, I should say. And they come out and it seems like they've aligned forces, which I thought was very confusing because the Hurt Syndicate, ever since aligning themselves with MJF, they've been heels. I mean, sure, the crowd still cheers for them because they're freaking cool and we love their entrance music, but they've been heels.
Right.
So I was just Adam Copeland said that he made a business arrangement with them. I was like, what? Where did this come from? But okay, fine. And then we have MJF backstage, very annoyed and upset that they're working with Copeland. And MVP pretty much yells at him. And Bobby Lashley does too and gives him the thumbs down and all that. I'm thinking, what the hell is going on?
Right.
Are they really not on the same page right now? Is this just a way to screw Adam Copeland over? I have no idea, but I don't know. I just felt like this kind of came out of nowhere. So I guess we'll see, but I do think that if the intention is to break them up, this is kind of rushed.
Very.
It's very rushed, and I don't think that there have been enough people that have hated this pairing enough for Tony to decide to break them up this quickly. So I have no idea what the heck is going on, but this was very confusing to me.
Yeah, so the whole tag thing is really confusing. So Copeland, he says, I made a deal, a business deal. The Hurt Syndicate comes out and they end up brawling with FTR, which feels like it kind of took any suspense about the tag tournament kind of out of it.
That too. It's
going to be FTR versus the Hurt Syndicate, it seems, I guess. And then what really was weird is MJF's like, why are you doing this? Why aren't you helping me? Which is actually a pretty logical question because he has been helping them fairly frequently. And, some people have not liked the MJF involvement with the Hurt Syndicate. Some people like it, I haven't felt too strongly about it either way. I've liked what it's done for MJF, actually. Like, it's added a little edge to him that he needed. But for Bobby to just like pin him against the locker and be like, we're not your lackeys, which I think that's an important thing for them to say. Like, we are not your background, But to do it without teasing any kind of dissension prior to that is weird. It felt very rushed. And then MJF's out talking to Mark Briscoe very shortly after and kind of retreading some stuff they'd already done. Like Jay, the stuff about Jay being, he was the one everybody respected, blah, blah, blah. And then Mark goes and wrestles Claudio and gets a win, So they're built, it feels like what they're really building to is Mark Briscoe versus MJF. I still am of the mind that MJF might try to use his contract like a cash-in, and Briscoe costs him that opportunity. I do think that might be what they're ultimately building up toward. But the Hurt Syndicate thing is very blurry to me. I don't really get it. I feel like it has to be like some kind of subterfuge to make Hangman feel like MJF is distracted and give him a leg up when they try to help MJF win the title. I don't know. But if they're just changing course now, very sloppy. Just not a good, not well written, if that's the case. But, you know, we just have to let it play out mostly, but it was weird. It was definitely weird. Also, Joshi, I did want to mention something that we didn't include in the notes here. Lots of women's promos and segments, lots of backstage stuff, and lots of Tekla. Willow called out Tekla, and then we saw a promo of the Sisters of Sin, if that's what they're actually called, or whatever they're called, and it was dope. I really liked it. I like that Tekla was in the center of the shot for most of it. I like that she kind of looks like she might be the leader. That was pretty cool.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, I think it's really, really cool. And I think I'm very stoked about this new group. And then Willow called out Tekla by name. So I think we're getting a Willow-Tekla overlap at some point here, which is awesome too, because just think of that match. You know, the size difference between the two. It could be really, really awesome. Could be really awesome.
Agreed. Yeah, they did a really good job with the women's promos and segments on Dynamite this week.
Yeah. And I mean, yes, I would love for them to have more matches, but in the meantime, at least make sure you're advancing stories and doing all of that. Mm-hmm. Real quick, because we didn't actually, you hadn't seen Supercard of Honor. We just wanted to run through a couple standout moments from that really, really stood out to us. In my opinion, you know, and I know it was called Supercard of Honor, but I consider kind of all their big events kind of supercards. You know, it's like, you know, they're not pay-per-views, but they stream on Honor Club. So this was their best big event in a long time. I felt it really delivered pretty much top to bottom. There's not anything I would call a bad match on this thing or something even worth skipping. You should watch the whole thing if you haven't. But a few standout matches. Lee Moriarty versus Blue Panther in a rematch. Blue Panther had beat Moriarty in Mexico. And this was a really, really strong match. I am just such a big believer in Lee Moriarty. He's so good. And Blue Panther can really go for a guy in his 60s. It is incredible. I also love that Danielson has really given him so much love that he's like, he was wearing a Blue Panther mask at All In. I love it. I love that Blue Panther's kind of getting his flowers like towards the end of his career in America, but he's still getting them. And I think that's really cool. But Moriarty beat Blue Panther in a match that I felt was really, really good.
Yeah, so I thought Lee Moriarty versus Blue Panther was a great match. I can't believe that Blue Panther is in his 60s. He still wrestles so well. And I agree with you. I love Lee Moriarty. He has a very promising future. Another match that I really enjoyed was Hechicero versus Oku. That was a really good match.
Really good.
I love both of their wrestling styles. Hechicero in particular, I don't understand half of the things that he does, but he does them so freaking well. He's just so innovative. And that one I definitely thought about quite a bit. And another match that stood out to me a lot, which I actually find it kind of odd that Meltzer didn't praise this one more, was the women's four-way match for the interim ROH Women's TV title. So it was Mina Shirakawa versus Persephone versus Mio Yamashita versus Yuka Sakazaki. I actually thought that was a really great match.
It was.
Yeah, all four of them looked really good.
Yep.
Always a pleasure to see the Joshis in the ring. I loved Yuka's dark look.
Yeah.
That really suited her. I don't understand why she isn't on television more.
Same.
She's freaking awesome. Mio Yamashita was really over with the crowd. And she's another one that they should keep featuring and come up with some kind of contract where she could do Tokyo Joshi and AEW, because that is someone that when their contract is up, you want to sign them. Mio Yamashita is freaking incredible.
She's great.
Yeah.
Really, really good.
At Persephone, I mean, she just wrestles so much like Eddie Guerrero. Amazing, amazing potential. So, yes, Mina did win this match, but is hurt now. So, I don't know how long she's out for and what's going to happen with the interim women's belt. But, I just thought all four of these ladies looked awesome.
They did. They did. And it was really cool to see Mina with Yamashita. It was really cool to see some of these pairings. You know, I think this match might have been Persephone versus Red Velvet if she hadn't gotten hurt. But just seeing that Persephone was still involved, because I think she is built in such, she's just so interesting to me. She's awesome. Very, very muscular and very driven. And I think her offense looks very different than the way she's built sometimes. She could just do all power moves, but she does a lot more than that. And Mio Yamashita, man, like her kicks are terrifying. They're just terrifying. I remember the first time I saw Kana, before she was Asuka, and just being kind of, I feel that way about Mio, where it's like her kicks are just lethal. And then Yuka, you're right. I wish we saw more of her. But, I think that's just a systemic thing where it's like there's so many women that I wish we saw more of. But, Yuka being full-time in the States, like, you'd think so.
Right. Utilize her.
She looked great in the match. Yeah. But moving from there, Athena and Thunder Rosa had a really, really good match. I love the chemistry these two have. And
same.
Athena is one of those people who feels like they have good chemistry with everyone. And I think what it is she's just like one of the very best wrestlers in the world right now. And Athena is kind of like in that same caliber of like, she's as good as anybody, male or female, in the world. Everything she does looks great. And even if, a spot doesn't go quite right or whatever, she can always figure out a way to salvage it and make it look really good. Thunder looked great in this match. It was such a bummer to hear that she got hurt because, I thought that she looked fantastic. And then she looked great the next night at All In too. Yeah, these two they beat the shit out of each other. Joshi, I know you love this match.
I thought it was an awesome match. It was really cool to see Thunder Rosa wrestle on the ground more, because usually she does more of the high flying stuff, which I love. But she really did some things in that match where I said, wow, she's going to like submission holds and things like that, where I was like, my God, she is so intense. But I loved it. It was a really hard hitting match. They both did a wonderful job. I wish it got more love for sure. And I would love to see a rematch down the line. And it's really cool that they had this match in Texas. Yep. So it was really awesome night for both of these ladies. And I am bummed that Thunder Rosa's injured, of course, and hope she'll be back soon. And as for Athena, she's just one of the best wrestlers in the world right now. Absolutely love the way she wrestles. And I was actually very surprised that she did not win the match with the O-face. She won with a submission hold.
Right.
And that was interesting because that doesn't really happen that often. So I did not see that coming.
No, and it made sense too. I mean, like, she had her dead to rights, Thunder had like gotten out of so many other things, but she had also gotten pretty fucked up in that match. So, it made sense that she just had her. She had her dead to rights and she pulled it out. I love a dominant heel when you have a dominant heel who's just better than everybody, and nobody can figure out quite the secret code to beating her. But she didn't cheat. She doesn't cheat, or very rarely. And so she's just a heel because she's mean.
Exactly. She's a bully.
She's just a bully and a badass at the same time.
Yeah.
And then the match that did get a lot of love And almost still feels like it could have gotten more because it was so good. I really worried about overhyping this match for you because I loved it so much. You look at the participants and you're like, this is going to be good, but I don't think you can understand how good it is until you actually see it. Bandito defended the ROH world title against Konosuke Takeshita. I think you're looking at AEW's future in this match, the future of the main event, where I think you will see these two eventually fighting for a world title. These guys are both so over. And I loved the way they made the size difference and the stylistic differences work for them. These guys are literally incapable of having a bad match.
It was just so interesting to me because Takeshita is so much taller than Bandito.
Yeah.
But Bandito is so strong.
Yeah.
He managed to pick up Takeshita multiple times in that match.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just, wow. I don't know how he does it. He is absolutely one of the best wrestlers in the world today. I mean, they both are. I love both Bandito and Takeshita a lot. And I just thought it was an amazing, amazing match. Definitely a match of the year candidate. I thought it was as good as the best matches on from All In, to be honest with you. I loved it just as much. Amazing chemistry. And I would love to see them wrestle each other again. If they could feud for a few months, hell, I would just freaking love that. And has there been a more impressive run in 2025 so far than Bandito's run? I mean, you look at, and Dave Meltzer put this very well, you look at what he managed to do in the matter of like a month.
Yeah.
All these like at least 4-star matches, Mexico, US, multiple matches, traveling, back and forth, giving us these memorable matches in such a short period of time. That says so much about him. He is so resilient. He is so dedicated to professional wrestling. I think 2025 is the year of Bandito. I really do. It's just, he has just, man, ever since he came back from injury, man, it's just, wow. He is a main event level guy, and he is so over. The crowd loves this guy. I would not shy away from saying he is a future AEW world champion.
I think if they do it right, he could be. And I think I would love to see him fighting Takeshita for that unified title down the line. I think that might be the direction it ends up taking for a while, at least. I think, we were talking before we started rolling here that, they've been teasing tension between Okada and Takeshita for a while. And I feel like that will come to a head sometime in the nearish future, maybe at the C2. I don't know. But Bandito in 30 days had just an incredible run. That week that AEW was in Mexico, Bandito wrestled 3 different nights down there and then was at Collision in Seattle when I was there. He had just wrestled in Mexico the Friday before that, and then he's in Seattle on Saturday. He had a match with Mascara Dorada that people were saying was a match of the year candidate,
which
fantastic. It is. It's a fantastic match. Then he has a match on Wednesday on Dynamite. Then he has a match Friday. Then he has a match Saturday. Like, unbelievable run this guy is on. And he had, what Meltzer also pointed out was that in Mexico, every house that he main evented sold out. And so they
love him.
They love him. Like, they're over the moon for this guy. He has done some work with CMLL before, but Bandito really is an indie guy in Mexico. So he doesn't have like a storied history in CMLL. So the people want Bandito. They want him in Mexico. They want him here. The reactions that he got this time that I was there live versus what he got the first time I saw him live when he was still with AEW, but he had just signed and he wrestled on a dark versus Christopher Daniels. It was a super cool match.
Oh, wow.
The crowd didn't really, en masse know who he was yet. And the crowd was like, couldn't wait to see Bandito when I was there live. So That's so cool. He's going to get over massively. Takeshita is a monster. And I would love to see him have a massive babyface turn and have a real feud with Okada to get put over to that next level.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen. Takesha's going to turn into a mega babyface down the line and beat Okada for the unified title. I think that's definitely what's going to happen. And speaking of Takeshita, we do need to mention someone. So,
this is what we were talking about, people.
This is what the celebration part. Yes.
Yeah.
You know who manages Takeshita and who was on commentary for his match against Bandito?
I sure do, Joshi.
Uncle Don Callis.
That's right. It's a calibration. That's right. A Donabration, a calibration.
Thank you, Don. Thank you, Don.
Thank you, Don. You handsome son of a bitch.
He is so handsome. Always well dressed. Amazing shades.
Yeah. Man, absolutely.
You know,
seems like a nice guy too.
Seems like a super nice guy. Takes good care of his family.
Yeah.
Has never said a bad thing about anybody.
No. The only people he's ever wronged are the people who wronged him first.
Yeah, they turned on him, you know.
Like, I love Kenny Omega. You know I love Kenny Omega. I know you love Kenny Omega, but we can both acknowledge that Kenny wasn't grateful enough for Don's help.
Will Ospreay too.
Yeah, and Don had to take action, you know. But there's smart people like Takeshita and Kyle Fletcher who saw the light.
They understand that they need Don in order to reach the next level of their career. I mean, when you think about it, ever since Kyle Fletcher, for example, aligned himself with Don, with the Don Callis family,
right?
How much bigger has he gotten? How much he's been in these amazing feuds? Had that incredible feud with Will Ospreay,
right? And beat
obviously
him.
It's because and beat him. Obviously, it's because of Don Callis.
Yeah.
Don has a very positive influence on his family.
He does. He's like the dad that you never wanted / never had. And that's something that you got to credit the guy for. Like, how many high functioning sociopaths, and I'm not breaking any news here, Don has called himself this. How many high functioning sociopaths do you know at all? And then technically, how many of them do you think you could call your friend? Not many.
That is a very good question. Yeah.
Like,
not many.
How many times have I met Don Callis? 0. How many friends do I think I could make out of Don Callis? 1. Yeah.
Well, and another thing that we've got to say about Don Callis, he is a multilingual expert.
He absolutely. Did you hear that intro for Hechicero this week?
Yes. I mean, I thought he was as impressive as Hangman Adam Page in Arena, Mexico.
Better in certain ways because he was
better.
Briefer.
And nobody even talked about it. And
Joshi, refresh us. What did he say?
He said, "Yo soy Hechicero," which sure, it means I am Hechicero, but he's basically just saying we are Hechicero.
That's what he's saying we all are Hechicero.
Yeah.
Right?
He didn't make a mistake. He was just...
He definitely did not. Did not.
He was just indicating that we all have Hechicero in us, and that's okay.
Yes. We all are top-notch submission wrestlers, maybe the best submission wrestler in the world, somewhere inside.
Yeah.
And Don's always encouraging people. You know what I mean?
He's always encouraging people. I thought it was really rude of Excalibur to say that he can't get the Spanish language right. I mean, really, Excalibur? I haven't heard you speak Spanish.
Yeah, exactly. You're from San Diego, too, dude. No excuses.
Yeah, I mean, Don Callis knows more Spanish than you.
Don Callis has forgotten more Spanish than, like, Tony Schiavone doesn't know a lick of Spanish, you know?
Yeah, so who is he to criticize Don Callis?
Yeah, and he's always criticizing Don.
He's always criticizing him.
And really, like, my opinion is like Taz is like at least somewhat neutral with Don, but he could be better. Honestly, he could treat him better.
Excalibur and Tony Schiavone, they've got to go.
I'm starting to think so. And if Don could be cloned, then you would have Don, and Taz. You know what I mean?
That would be great.
That's kind of a dream team when you really think about it.
I like that idea.
And like, it's nice when Riccaboni shows up for Dynamite. That's cool. But like, Don, huh?
He's not as cool as Don.
No, he's not as cool as Don or as knowledgeable. Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but like Don Callis, he calls it right in the middle. He is very fair, unbiased, unlike Excalibur, Tony, and Riccaboni.
Yeah.
Riccaboni.
Very biased.
Very biased. You can't have this kind of attitude in professional wrestling. Another thing I want to point out. Yeah. How dare Lexi Nair gaslight Don Callis?
All the time, too. All the time.
I can't accept this treatment anymore. I don't know how he does it.
How does Tony Khan employ her still? Like,
yeah,
you watch her play mind games with Don in every interview.
Yeah. What, just because she's married to Big Bill?
Yeah.
What kind of crap is that?
Yeah. Like, like what's Big Bill going to do? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, if he was going to do something, he would have done it. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But yeah, Joshi, this is a calibration. And I think Don Callis is the best modern manager.
Yes.
Period. Like, it's kind of crazy, and I'm not trying to be too tribal here, but people talk about Paul Heyman.
You were gonna say that, and I have the same opinion as you, but say it.
People talk about Paul Heyman a lot, and look, I will acknowledge, whether I like the man or not, Paul Heyman is a great manager. He has been great. I think Don Callis is far better, and I love Don's commitment to his role and his character at all times. He never, ever breaks, ever. Like, he doesn't laugh at anything anybody says. He immediately, like, I love when, like, the announcers will call him, like, a sociopath, and he's like, of course, Schiavone. Like, he just acknowledges what they said, like, of course, that's a fact, that's obvious, like, I loved when, he set up a match when Ospreay was in the Callis family versus somebody else in the I think it wasn't Takeshita. Oh, it was Takeshita at a pay-per-view. It was at Revolution. It was Ospreay's first AEW match. And Callis is like, no, this is great. I hope they kill each other. This is going to be excellent. Like, he's so unhinged, and he's so good at it. And even fucking up the Spanish stuff was so, funny. And the face he made, and like these intros that he's doing now for people, for Okada and Hechicero, are hilarious.
Yeah.
The painting with him and Kenny.
Oh my God. That was too much.
That is unfucking believable. Also, for those of you who haven't been watching AEW the entire time, and there's a lot of newer people who haven't, go back and watch the night Kenny won the world title and tell me that is not the best way to introduce a character in recent wrestling history. That was so good. They're like having Don as a special guest commentator, and then you realize that they were in cahoots the entire time. And Don helps Kenny screw Mox out of the belt. Oh, classic.
So well done.
Classic. Yeah. And Joshi, you were talking about how much you like this version of the Callis family. So please elaborate for the people.
Yeah. I mean, we have seen so many different reiterations, of the Don Callis family, whether someone was injured or, I don't know, for some reason, Takeshita beat Kenny Omega, and then it didn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
It was just, there were periods where I just wasn't sure, like, where this faction was going,
Mm-hmm.
But I feel ever since Kyle Fletcher's rivalry with Will Ospreay, they have just really stepped it up. And I feel this is the best version of the Don Callis family right now. And I definitely didn't expect them to add Okada, but considering that Takeshita will most likely turn babyface, like you do need a replacement, and Okada is the perfect replacement for that. He's a full-blown heel now, pretty evil. But I just love how basically everyone in this faction feels like a big deal. And honestly, once this whole Death Riders story is over with, they should just absolutely take over. They should be that main faction in AEW that's just, you know, like creating havoc. Because I don't get tired of the Don Callis family.
No.
And honestly, when a member of the Don Callis family wrestles and I see that Don's going to be on commentary, I get so excited. I'm just like, oh, yes, commentary is going to get like 10 times better and I'm going to laugh a lot. And it's just the constant entertainment and just, you know, these guys in this faction, they're just so good. I mean, you look at Kyle, and it is true. Like, I wasn't joking earlier. He really has stepped it up a lot ever since being paired with Dawn.
It was the missing ingredient for him. Yeah, he needed to turn heel. And since then, he has been... I mean, he turned heel at an event I was at Wrestle Dream. You know, it was awesome to see Takeshita win the international title and for Kyle to turn. I had no idea Kyle was going to go on a run like this, though. I mean...
No, me neither.
That guy is set up to be a world champion. I mean, he could literally just win the world title right now, and he would be believable. I mean, to go from being a tag team guy who was waiting for his partner to come back to being like he could win the world title. He has a win over Okada, by the way. He beat him last year in the C2. So, you know, there's all kinds of directions you can go with Kyle Fletcher, with Konosuke Takeshita, with Okada. I think Okada, you know, I like that he's still talking for himself a little bit, but he lets Don do all the heavy lifting. I think that's the right way to use Okada. And I think Don's done a ton for Takeshita. But the other thing is that I think Don became more focused this year, where he like, you know, I think he was trying to have too many layers at times before. And this time, basically since Fletcher joined, Don knows exactly what to do with his character and how to make it super compelling for television. And, you know, you can't have too many layers. You got to be kind of abidingly evil and hateable. And Don does the best job of that I can remember in a very, very long time. And again, I actually think Paul Heyman's one of the greatest ever. But I think Callis just has everybody beat right now. He is the ultimate heel manager, period.
He's the best. And another thing I want to point out is that ever since they put Lance Archer in the Don Callis family, he has been featured on television regularly. And usually when he's in matches, he loses, but that doesn't matter. You want someone like Lance Archer on TV. He's a really big dude. He's intimidating. People react to him well. And I thought it was a shame that he was hardly used for a while. Like, why wouldn't you use somebody like him?
Right.
You know, he has, like, Lance Archer has a really great look.
He's also almost 50 years old.
He's almost 50 years old. So it's like, do whatever you can with Archer. Don't just, leave him off television for no reason.
And I think the way they're using him is perfect for him. Yeah, because he's a big, intimidating dude who's the muscle of the Callis family. And if he wrestles, he probably will lose, but he's going to kick somebody's ass too, you know?
Yeah. And I don't even think that bothers him. I think he just wants to be on TV and he wants to put others over. That's just the type of person that he is. And, yeah, it was just such a shame that for so long he was never there. And I just thought, what the heck? Like, I'd rather see him compared to others that were being used that were, I can't give you exact names now, but like, there were wrestlers where they hardly got any kind of reaction. And like, let's say premier athletes where it's like, why are they being featured so much? The crowd doesn't care for them. You put these guys in ROH. Lance Archer, he does have some kind of connection with the crowd. Like, no, obviously it's not like Okada's connection, but that doesn't matter. You want the fans to react to wrestlers. You don't want them to be quiet and bored, right? So I just think, like Don, ever since he came to AEW, he's been a treasure. And I enjoyed him, in New Japan as well when he was doing commentary there. Yeah. Oh, yeah. I thought he was excellent. I watched TNA for a little while before AEW became a thing. And I remember enjoying his commentary there. And now we get to, witness that in AEW. And not only that, he's also basically cutting promos, backstage segments. You want a heel character like that. And the thing about Don that I love so much is that no matter who wrestles from his faction, the crowd will chant, "Fuck Don Callis."
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
The heat this guy gets is unbelievable. And he does so many little things to make himself more hateable. Like, remember when him and Kenny were together and he would wear sometimes like this bright pink like coat, and then he would have glittery pink loafers that he would wear that with no socks. Like, it just bothers you to look at it. It's like, why the fuck is he doing this? And it's like Fletcher does the same thing. Fletcher wears all pink. He wears those annoying dangly glasses that they just are annoying looking. Like,
they're annoying looking.
Like, you just want to punch him. Like, what the fuck? And Don is the master at little stuff like that. And so, for a guy who 10 years ago wasn't even in the wrestling business, to go from, and a highly educated, like, top level executive, like when he left the wrestling business in the early 2000s, he went to college and got a master's degree and in business, like he was sitting on the board of several major company, or I don't know if they were major, but several international companies. And, he was probably making really good money, and he got a chance to get back into the wrestling business, and man, the dude has made the most of it, to say the very least. This is the highlight of his career. It's got to be.
It's the highlight of his career, and I just want the Don Callis family to take over completely. Mm-hmm. They haven't disappointed at all this year, and this is a faction that I can actually see surviving for a while.
Yes.
Because all the pieces are there.
Yeah.
So,
well, and you've got a guy that was the TNA world champion multiple times, who's like just kind of in between, like being like a low level Lance Archer guy to being like a Takeshita guy, with Josh Alexander. So he's just part of the background right now, but you could heat that guy up and make him a huge deal anytime you want. So it's just so good. And yeah, exactly. When Takeshita leaves, I thought maybe Takeshita and Fletcher would end up feuding, and then Okada joined, and it's like, I totally see how this is going to come together. It's like,
that's going to be huge.
It's going to be huge. It's going to be huge. And Joshi, this has been a huge episode of Sit Down, Shut Up, Markouts. We've covered a lot of ground, but we want to thank all our listeners for your comments on YouTube, for rating us on iTunes and Spotify. Please make sure to give Sit Down, Shut Up, Markout a 5-star review on your platform of choice, wherever it lets you rate stuff. Please rate us. If you're listening on YouTube, give us a thumbs up. It really does help people find the show. We'd also like to thank you for joining us in our very first Callibration, saluting the greatest hero of AEW, Don Callis. But until the next Callibration, or until next week, I'm Blade Daly.
I'm Joshi G.
Pro wrestling forever.
Sickos Club.